Welcome to the IT Career Energizer podcast. For anyone who wants to build and grow a career in IT, develop and improve your strengths and skills, be inspired and motivated by the successes of others, manage your career progression, and achieve your IT career goals. And now, your host, Phil Burgess.
Welcome to episode 128 of the IT Career Energizer podcast. My guest on today's show is Shannon Kendall. Shannon is an application developer at Lifion by ADP. However, before she became a full-time application developer, Shannon was an actress. So Shannon, can I ask you to expand on that very brief intro and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I was an actress for about 7 years before even considering a career in tech. I actually come from a very technical family, and because I was the artist in the group, I avoided tech myself because I thought it wouldn't interest me whatsoever. I was never super into playing video games or anything like that. And my little brother became a video game developer, and my father's a hardware engineer. And I was always really fascinated with stories and acting. And I'd been performing my whole life because I started as a child as a dancer. But after a few years of doing it and really, really honing my skill set, I got to a place where I was really proud of my work. But I realized the actual career of being an actor was not fulfilling me, and I was bored on a daily basis. There were obviously highlights, but the opportunities I had to really act were few and far between. And I was spending a lot of my time just trying to pay rent versus actually being an actor. And so I had a friend who was doing musical theater out in the Bay Area, out in San Francisco. And all of a sudden I noticed on her Instagram page that she was posting pictures from studying for a coding test. And then the next thing I know, she was giving a talk in Thailand at a tech conference. And it really blew me away. And it really started me thinking about if someone who I thought was being very successful in her acting career switched into tech, I was at that place in my life where I was ready to consider a different future for myself. It really was just one morning I woke up and that whole thought process went through my head that I was bored and unhappy and I wasn't feeling challenged. And I remembered I was in college and so organized and doing so much all the time. And I felt like my life as an actor was sitting around and submitting for jobs and playing Candy Crush until I heard back from someone and booked a gig. So I just tried my hand at some online tutorials for JavaScript and realized that I really, really enjoyed it. I liked identifying patterns and solving problems in challenging ways. I really enjoy when there's a limitation and an expected outcome, and then I have the freedom to figure out how to navigate through that to get to the outcome. I would say my whole life that's kind of where my creativity lied. Even in schoolwork, I hated when there was no prompt or structure because I loved finding creative ways to achieve every point. And I would do that with my acting as well. Theater especially is all about having limited resources and just kind of making it work with what you got. And I've found that that line of thinking has really connected all the dots for me throughout the whole process.
Right. Are there any aspects of your acting career that you've brought into what you do now as an application developer?
It really surprises me. I keep figuring stuff out the more I do it. Recently, I've been noticing that a lot of my work on personal emotional work on taking rejection or taking direction or being part of a team and kind of collaborating where you're not the actual star. With acting, your scene partner affects your performance just as much, if not more, because they're giving you everything and you're reacting to it, responding to it, and creating a scene. And I feel like working in a team on a professional level, I'm doing that all the time. When we have like disagreements or we're planning something, it's not about, being right or wrong, but continuously trying to approach it from a new perspective and find weaknesses and solve them together. And sometimes it's your idea and sometimes it's someone else's, but at the end of the day, it's the team's. And I've always kind of really loved that collaborative part of acting. I always like making things with people because I enjoy the give and take. And I found that's really helped me in my development career because I know how to work with people like that and not hang my ego on whether it was my idea or their idea, because regardless, it's us having that conversation together, us working together, that creates the best product possible. And that has been true both in my acting work and in my tech work.
So Shannon, can you maybe share a career tip with the IT Career Energizer audience, one they may not know and perhaps should?
I would say learn to get really comfortable with not knowing things or being wrong. I feel like a lot of what holds me back is my fear of being wrong or this sense that I'm not ready. And the thing that I found with my tech career is that I never feel ready. And if I do feel totally ready, it's something that is not causing me to grow. I was really, really lucky to be placed on a brand new team shortly after getting onboarded into my company. And because we were establishing roles and architecture and design patterns, I very quickly was put in charge of aspects of our projects. And I was very scared at first, very, very intimidated. But I feel really lucky knowing that, especially at the time, my manager, she would have one-on-ones with us and I would express that I feel very nervous about taking on this responsibility, but I am deciding consciously to trust my team and that they are aware that like I'm new at this and that I'm bringing fresh perspectives and that I can kind of rely on them to guide me when I'm off track and give me feedback. And I ended up doing great. I learned a whole lot. My skill set has grown immensely because I just continuously decide that when I'm afraid of something, it's exactly what I should be doing. And then I conquer it. And then I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I have a new skill set that I then can matriculate on into other new areas.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's important to be able to stretch yourself and feel a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously, you don't want to take it too far where you become so uncomfortable it becomes a problem. But yeah, I think you're right. Definitely.
Yeah.
So Shannon, can you maybe tell us about your worst IT career moment and what you learned from that experience?
I'm trying to think. I haven't really had the opportunity to like earn a fail whale yet.
Right.
I haven't had enough opportunity to like totally ruin something, especially because my team is creatively brand new. So like I'm not a prod at client level to create like a huge disaster. I feel like for me, my absolute worst days are when I'm tirelessly working on one thing, especially if it's something that like I work on an agile team. So we know like we'll point it, it's only like 1 day's worth of effort. It's not that much. And then I end up I've spent like 3 days on a 1 day effort because I found a bug and I couldn't figure out whether it was my error or because the tool I was using from another team at the company wasn't working. And I would feel like the team was upset at me. I think this was closer to when I was new and I had to be told over and over and over again, it's okay if you take longer as long as you do it right. And I felt like the team would be frustrated because I wasn't completing work at a velocity that they were. And it was part of my trust building of my team to learn that it's way better to have something that will not fail than to have something that is going to cause problems down the line. So it sucked for me, but it was a lot of growing to learn to let that go and to trust the process that I'm going through.
So moving away from your worst moment, can you maybe tell us about your career highlight so far?
So I pulled my first double shift in that my company is pretty great about work-life balance. They value that very much. And I get told all the time, like, it's okay if you really want to pick something up on the weekend, but please don't burn yourself out and please only like develop really during dev time. But we had some issues with a sprint recently, and it pushed our progress back. So we weren't able to really tackle it at the normal pace. So we had to basically we have 2 week sprints, and we had to do nearly all of the work in 1 week. And so the day before our demo, the team and I stayed until like 11:30 at night, just making sure that we had something to show, because not because we're so hard on our commitments, but we just were really proud of our work, and we were tired of not being able to show it. And we really wanted to, we had created this new architecture, and it was the first time that we got to show that to the company. And it's kind of this brand new concept. So the next day, as we're like zombies in the demo and we're getting questions back and forth, and I'm seeing architects who are at 5 levels ahead of, like, above me, explaining our work to people who have questions because they're so invested in what we're doing. And just seeing something that I had been involved with from concept through delivery, and seeing the lead architects of our company be so invested in it, especially within my first, I haven't even been in my real tech career for a full year. I got hired in April of last year, and to see like my work at that level, it was kind of that moment where I realized that like I'm already doing more in my career than I was able to achieve as an actor over 7 years. And that gratification of seeing people involved and consuming like my thoughts and my ideas and like something that I was involved with, I've never been able to experience that before. And it was really, really fulfilling. And even though I was completely exhausted, it was the best day.
Cool. I think it'll be great for other people to hear that, particularly those who are considering coming into the industry or maybe early on, because it's that sort of being able to sort of visualize and realize the outcome as a result of your input. So I presume that's where that feeling comes from.
It's something in a lot of industries you don't get to experience, and to see your effort directly create value is a level of fulfillment that I didn't know I was craving so badly.
Shannon, what excites you about the future of the IT industry and careers in IT in particular?
It's funny because it wavers all the time the more I'm in the industry. I remember when I was job hunting, I felt like, oh, I got into this industry just in time. But that's just the job hunt process. It's the worst experience ever. But I'm really excited because as far behind as the tech industry is, like with gender diversity and all kinds of diversity in general, my company, especially that I'm working for, is incredibly diverse. And I have this really unique situation where every member of my team, besides my project manager, is a woman. And it's fairly unheard of in tech. And I feel like there's this huge push to get more women into tech because it'll create better products and everything. And I think that tech is an industry where it's your ideas and your ability to collaborate and your ability to constructively challenge and multitask and all kinds of skill sets that I feel women, I mean, this is a generalization, but I feel like a lot of women excel in that just because we're also in our personal lives maintaining, chores at home and schedules and the schedules of our loved ones and the needs of our loved ones and learning how to communicate with them and I just feel like this industry is thirsty for people who have that skill set, and there's a workforce that is ready to join. And I think it will be a great equalizer now that women have opportunities to get into positions where they have that much influence. And I feel like my generation of workers is already in that mindset and then ready to transition seamlessly into that.
It'll be interesting to see how things evolve over the next sort of 10, 15, 20 years and see how far diversity and those sort of balancing changes occur within delivery teams and then generally the working environment. So, yeah, there's certainly been some significant moves over the last few years, and you can see a lot of bodies and groups getting together to promote different areas of diversity. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much change there will be.
Yeah, and I think it will show itself as, especially because people of all backgrounds can join tech, and I feel like it's a great equalizer in and of itself because it's not about your background, it's not about your physical capabilities or anything like that. It's just about your ability to solve problems and communicate and work with others. And I feel like it will be the biggest field to go into, and it will be an increasingly stable field to go into. And I think it will help people change their lives. I mean, it certainly helped me change my life and get myself in a place where I'm not carrying around a daily stress about whether or not I have a future for myself.
Right. Okay, we're going to go into the reveal round now, which is more of a quick fire, get to know you type question round. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
So what first attracted you to a career in IT?
I didn't realize this until later, but back when I was in high school, I had a science teacher. If we were done with whatever work, we could complete these logic puzzles for extra credit. And it would be it would look like a grid, kind of like Sudoku. And, it'd give you clues. And so it's kind of like, if this is true, then obviously this can't be true. And you kind of solve from like the 14 lines of clues, like all of the, like this person had this toy in this room or that kind of scenario. And I loved solving those. And I didn't realize that like that kind of logic directly applies to programming.
Yep, very much so.
So when I decided to try coding for the first time, it very much felt like I was solving these puzzles, and it made my mom quotes me all the time. She was like, I just remember after you started coding that you called me and you were like, Mom, my brain feels so good. It's so happy to like finally work again. Yeah. So that's kind of what drew me to coding, was having like little puzzles to solve all day long.
What is the best career advice you've ever received?
I don't know if it was 100% advice. It might have just come from like a conversation that I was having, and we kind of came to this concept as a whole. But it's kind of like you don't realize how skilled you actually are. Yes, I was an actor, but I was also working in restaurants. And something that comes up in people who are working in restaurants is right around when you get older, you hate being on your feet and doing that kind of physical labor, but you don't know where you're going to go. Like, you don't have any skill sets that you've developed over the past all of your 20s. And I never realized all of the little skills that I was picking up from navigating people my whole career as a server. And I use it all the time to interact within my workplace and navigate those interpersonal scenarios. That in of itself was a huge skill set that I came on the job, like out of the box, ready to go. So I think the best career advice is that no matter what, you have a skill set that you can draw upon that will be an asset into any field you go into. And you just kind of have to realize that and embrace it and enhance it.
The next question might not be so relevant, actually, but we'll see. If you were to begin your IT career again right now, what would you do?
I think personally for me, it would have been to be less hard on myself. I personally am a perfectionist and a people pleaser, and I hold myself to a very high standard. And I consistently don't give myself enough credit. And I kind of wish that I would have beat myself up less about every single mistake and just kind of rolled with the punches and been continuously proud of how far I came. And I think also I would have compared myself less to the career paths that everyone around me was taking. Even my friend, who was an actress turned developer, she went into developer advocacy because she decided to directly use her skill set from being an actor to communicate and give talks. And she's really funny, and she's got like a great social media presence. And I thought that I needed to be exactly like that as well, if I was going to go this actor turned developer route. But really, I'm much happier on the path that I took because it was right for me. Like, I also would love to go into developer advocacy, but I think that before I do that, it dawned on me that I really wanted to spend time in the trenches, just really getting my hands dirty and learning as much as I can. And once I finally let go of the feeling like I needed to be doing everything she was doing, creating content and, being on social media and trying to give talks all the time, I let myself pursue exactly what I needed at the time and felt like I wanted. And I've grown so much, I don't think that I would change that. And I wish that I had kind of allowed myself to figure out my path before I started beating myself up about not following hers.
And what career objectives are you currently focusing on?
So my team's in a really interesting place because my manager just went on leave because she just had a baby. He's a beautiful little boy.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there is a bit of a vacuum for us right now where her manager is kind of stepping down to check in on us a little bit more, and our team lead is stepping up more to fill in her roles. So I'm really trying to push myself that even though I'm new at this company and I'm new at this and tech in general, to just step up and continue to take on more responsibility. I would love to eventually become a leader, but I'm very, very aware that especially in tech, people get promoted because they're good at their current job, but they're not necessarily trained in leadership.
Yeah, that's a very good observation.
And,
yes, go on.
And I don't want to just be another example of that. So since I know that eventually I would like to be a leader in tech, I want to work on take the opportunities I have now to step up and take more responsibility, and then also keep my eye out for where opportunities to be trained in actual leadership. I think that I have very strong people skills, and I'm very empathetic because of all of my actor training. I'm very sensitive to how someone else is feeling. My manager, who just went on leave, she's the best manager I've had in any industry. She is able to perfectly balance technical prowess with her emotional sensibilities and kind of manage the team interpersonally without getting in our way or making us feel judged or anything like that. And it kind of inspired me to eventually be the same. So I'd really love to find the time and opportunity to train myself so that when the opportunity arrives, I'm ready to step into it.
Okay. And what's the number one non-technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
I have a fun story from when I was job hunting. Actually, my last interview for Lifion, I had come back. It was my third round of interviews, my second on-site, and I did an hour with two managers from one domain within the company, and then the second hour was for a manager on another one. And the second manager was working from home that day. He wasn't able to come in. So I was in a little meeting room that had like a big TV screen with like a camera coming out so that they can, have conferences. And so he had called in, but never turned on his video. So all I heard was a voice in an empty room talking to me. So I performed my complete last interview whiteboarding to this voice that was talking to me that I couldn't see at all. But because I had spent so much time as an actor auditioning, I'm used to going into rooms completely unprepared for like what will be in there and just doing my job anyway. I even had the wherewithal to ask my interviewer if I was in frame for the camera because I'm used to doing that for my acting auditions.
Yep.
I think the ability to be in a very strange situation or room and still use all of my talent and the skill set that I've developed and only let it affect me in that I take notes to tell the story later. I think that's helped me a lot because I didn't sweat under pressure. No. And that was something that I developed a long time before.
Shannon, can you share a parting piece of career advice with the IT Career Energizer audience?
I think it's to stay open to opportunity and to not judge what you're doing now based off where you think you need to be in the future. I always predict what I think other developers will think of me, and I don't think that served me at all. And I think by just going with the flow and taking learning as much as you can from everything, mistakes aren't mistakes if you've learned from them. It's a valuable lesson, and so utilize it. Also, keep a spreadsheet of everything. Any tricks that you notice or things that you forgot the first time you're developing, write it down and check it, because I wasn't doing that and I was annoying my team because I kept making little mistakes, especially when you're developing these huge things. There's so many little checks you need to make. Make that checklist and improve it and follow it, because you will look so consistent and smart to your team. Yeah, I think that's the two pieces of advice that I would give.
And finally, what's the best way we can find out more about you and connect with you?
You can follow me on the socials. I don't post every single day because I forget to pull my phone out, but I do post some fun content. So I'm on Twitter as @SN, as in Noel, my middle name. So SN Kendall, Kendall, and then underscore. And then I'm on Instagram, the same handle, but no underscore. I managed to get that one before someone else took it.
Right. Shannon, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you so much. I had a pleasure.
As always, my thanks go to my guest on today's show. You'll find a show notes page for today's episode on the IT Career Energizer website, which will be itcareerenergizer.com/e and then the number of today's episode. I also want to thank you for your continued support. It's always great to hear from listeners, particularly when they have suggestions about potential guests or ways to improve the show. And this was one of the reasons for creating the new IT Career Energizer Community Facebook group. I'm really excited about taking the podcast forward, and I hope that you'll continue to support and listen to the show as it continues to change and evolve. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you're not growing your career, you're slowing your career.
Thanks for listening to the IT Career Energizer podcast. To find out more about building a successful career in IT, visit itcareerenergizer.com.